The Shining is a film about a family that takes a winter vacation to a hotel that they're even getting paid to go to. It is a heartwarming story about a family that overcomes their problems and learns to love. Actually, never mind. The Shining is about a lot of things, but that is not one of them. Directed by Stanley Kubrick and based on the Stephen King novel of the same name, The Shining debuted in theaters in 1980, and since then it has become a staple in the horror genre and film in general. There are many aspects of The Shining that make it a very entertaining, well thought out, and most of all, important film. From Kubrick's adaptation of King's original story, to performances by Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, and others, and the overall atmosphere and sheer depth that the film creates over its 2.5 hours. First, let's talk story. One should know that Kubrick's Shining is much different than King's original vision, including core changes in character and story elements, minor details such as the timeline before the Torrances arrive at the Outlook Hotel, and the ending of the story. Do not be fooled. This movie is not Stephen King's The Shining. Aside from the story, these two creations are two completely different beasts. What I may appreciate the most about The Shining is its devotion to this story. It seems that modern horror films are drifting further and further away from having a compelling story and deciding to focus more on scaring the audience with more exploitive methods. The Shining manages to scare its audience while still staying true to this story. The Shining stars Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance, Shelley Duvall as Wendy Torrance, Danny Lloyd as Danny Torrance, and Scatman Crothers as Halloran. These are your key players in this film, and each of these actors puts on an enthralling performance. Jack Nicholson is able to capture the slow, creeping, uncertain horror that takes over Jack Torrance throughout the film. Shelley Duvall plays a protective mother trying her best to shield her son Danny from the danger that has become her husband, even putting herself in danger to do so. Danny Lloyd as Danny Torrance is, in my opinion, a sort of wild card. He has the otherworldly ability to shine, that is, communicate telepathically. Since he is a child, we as the audience instinctively view him as someone who could be preyed on. But here, there are times where we don't know if Danny is the predator or the prey. Red rum on the wall? Wielding a knife while his mom sleeps? Those aren't things that innocent kids usually do. And finally, Scatman Crothers plays the role of Dick Halloran, the only other character in this story that can shine with Danny. As the Overlook's cook, Halloran left with the rest of the staff as soon as the Torrances moved in, but returned when he heard Danny's calls for help. I could rave about Kubrick's and King's stories all day, but without the proper actors to play them out, they would be manuscripts sitting on a desk.
Bet you thought I was going to do another one of those crazy transitions like from the movie. No, I like to change things up. I want my stuff to be...
The bulk of The Shining takes place at the Overlook Hotel, a ski resort in the mountains that is closing for the season. This may seem neither an interesting nor typical location for a horror film, but the world that Stanley Kubrick creates here is powerful. First, the Overlook Hotel is a gigantic, overflowing beast that houses only 3 little people. Room 237, the Gold Room, the Hedge Maze, and Jack's writing room are just a few of the locations that Jack, Wendy, and Danny explore throughout the film. On this same token, The Shining is a film with a lot of depth, thematically, story-wise, and visually. Go on the internet and Google Shining conspiracy theories, and you will find an endless supply of blog posts and articles and websites going in depth about the many, many ideas about this movie is really about. Kubrick helping fake the moon landing, the Holocaust, Native Americans versus Manifest Destiny, and CIA mind control are just a few of the theories discussing the movie's subject matter. Now, I won't sit here and say I know exactly what every part of The Shining is about, because I don't. But that's not the point here. The point is that this movie doesn't stop at the credits. Even 37 years after it came out, people are still talking about it, writing about it, and even making movies about The Shining's importance. You don't get that with every movie. This is what makes The Shining special to me. Its complexity makes you want to learn more about it, and every time you do, you find out something new that you didn't quite catch the first time around.